Hey everyone, tonight on Pizza Roundtable, we'll be talking about the success of Domino's emergency pizza campaign, reviews of the KFC Cheesa offering, 2024 pizza trends, and Chris D'Elia gets us ready for Women's Pizza Month in March.
Welcome, everyone, to Pizza Roundtable, part of the Pizza Club Network. Every week, we cover the biggest news stories in the pizza world. I'm your host, Will Dumas, and I'm joined by my guest host, Jim Mumford. Jim is both a cookbook author and a writing contributor for the media publication Inside Hook. Jim, what's up, man? How are you doing, buddy?
Good, bud. Sounds like it's time to talk about some pizza.
Absolutely. We've got a lot on deck today. Making a pizza pun there.
Perfect.
Yeah, can't. Got to get the corny ones out in the beginning. So
Absolutely.
let's touch quickly on an item that we brought up last week. So this one is covered by the New York Post, and the reason I'm saying this one is I want to share it is because Jim, you shared an article with me today, and we were talking about it. This is none other than the KFC Cheesa. I think it's supposed to be Cheesa.
Cheesa. Oh yeah.
I feel like I have to go to like
Cheesa.
Chicken. The Wikipedia. Pizza. I know, but it feels like Cheesa sounds better. But Cheesa, I get it. Like it makes more sense. I don't know. I feel like maybe we should reach out for an official comment.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the play here.
But again, guys, this was the hybrid chicken / pizza offering by KFC, which is like I'll leave it there. It's marinara topped chicken with mozzarella and pepperoni. So Post picked this one up, gave their thoughts on it. But first, Jim, I'll share. I think you've seen a few different social media publications around this week. What's your feel for how accepted this is in the world right now?
I've seen a lot. It must be accepted. It's sold out in my local KFC. I tried to get one, so I think it's a hit, right? I mean, everyone I've seen says, yeah, this plays. What about you? What have you seen?
So I've seen the same. I've seen a lot of comparisons to chicken parmesan, right, which is what we initially talked about or speculated on. So that's what I've heard. I tried to get there and I wasn't able to, but I'm absolutely going to get there over the weekend. I know where I have to go this weekend. There's like one along the way, so I'm as long as they've got it, like I'm going to be into it.
Yeah.
But I'd say it seems well received, right? Just to put a bow on it, it seems well received thus far. I'm excited to try it. I don't know. Sounds like people are digging it.
Yeah, well, people know what it is, right? Their expectations are perhaps accurately set, but yeah, it seems like people like it, familiar flavors, and so yeah, like I said, I tried to get one tonight. They were sold out. So KFC, step it up. It looks like you might have a hit.
And now I wonder if it's going to be, like I feel like it's been like the demand, like the draw often of fast food items have been these like limited time offerings that draw attention, get craze, and then get like kind of brought back, and maybe they become like into the rotation. This just seems so out of place for KFC, but it seems like it's really taking off. So I wonder, like, do you think it could fit as like a full-time item for them? Yeah. Or is it one of those seasonals where it's like it comes back a certain time of year and you're like, can't wait to get it, like the McRib equivalent, right? Or something like that.
Exactly what I was going to say. This is going to become a McRib, right? I don't think people aren't going to go more than once, right? It's not going to become a regular, but people, oh yeah, I like that. I'll try that once a year, twice a year. So I see it's seasonal, like so many others, and I'm sure they're playing into that. Who knows, right? Listen, if we keep buying them, they're going to keep making them.
Very, very true. Very true. Cool. Like I said, I'm excited to give it a whirl, and I think one thing you just mentioned could definitely be important. People know what they're expecting with this.
Yes.
Like you've got a good idea going into it. It's also not something just like folded into something where you can't see it and you're like, I don't know. It's gonna be like this is right there. Like it's out there. Right there. You can see it. You know what this is gonna be like.
And I'll also throw there's no mayo in it. And I feel like as a lot of these weird offerings always have like some weird mayo or sauce or pickles. These are ingredients that from your 2 to 102 you like, right? So I think that might give it a little more staying power than some other fast food offerings, personally.
Ooh, interesting analysis there, Jim. I didn't think about the mayo component to it, but I do hear that there, and I happen to know one. There's a world of mayo haters out there. I'm not one of them, but they're
Me neither.
there.
And
well, you can't. Mayo's a food group for you guys, right? Sour cream mayo. I mean,
we're not in Wisconsin here. It's Michigan, but no, I think I read an article, right, where like, you know, people who like, you know, the test of mayo is like a generation, right? You could draw generation to generation. So again, right, who knows where it is, and I hope we're talking about this in a year where it gets its 1 year anniversary and we can you know, toast one virtually.
I love it. All right, we'll look forward to it. Speaking of toasting for good things, next one up that was covered by PMQ. This one's out of Domino's. This is a special that we talked about, and I'd say probably Q4 2023. I feel like we were talking about Domino's every episode, or just constant period, like all the time. They were up there for something that was shared, some kind of promotion, something, right? And this one that caught a lot of attention, like I said, from PMQ is here's how giving away free pizza fueled Domino's big comeback in late 2023. This was that emergency pizza idea, right? Where essentially, like, if you signed up for the rewards club, you would have the opportunity to grab a quote unquote emergency pizza, which was like a free medium pizza anytime you needed it, right? And the promo was like, you burn dinner, you're running late, you mess something up, like Domino's is there for you. Give them a call and can rock this promo, right? But it seems like it worked.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Domino's seems like they're the type marketing, right? They throw it at the wall, right? They try things, they want to get the broad reach, but you know, this one stuck. And I think it's because of the app, right? You had to sign up for the app, and it was a future promise, right? Sign up for the app and get 20% off. No, it's free pizza. Everyone loves it. Sign up for the app, and now you're in the push notifications, and now you're in. So I get it, and they might have unlocked the playbook, right, on how to get people's attention. So I mean, again, kudos to them. We've covered, you know, the car and the free pizza and the, you know, we'll deliver
e-bike, that e-bike looking thing. That thing was awesome. I'm not gonna lie. If you,
but I mean, it's almost every other week. But hey, you know what? They're trying, and you know, we'll talk about Domino's later. But they're backing it up with improved quality too, which I think is, you know, people are trying them again, right? And if you haven't had them in 3, 4, 5 years, oh, this is better than I remember. So I think it's smart that they're backing it up with a little more emphasis on being the best in class, which I think is pretty savvy.
No, I agree, and I think it's to the point there, just to like draw our attention to why we're saying that they, you know, were successful. They had their Q4 earnings call, and they noted that there has been, since essentially the release of the rewards program, they're up to 3 million active users in their rewards program, which is 2 million plus since the relaunch of that rewards program in September, right? So that's a significant uptick in terms of that. So that's where they're just making that direct connection to like, hey, which is something that we talk about all the time, for especially on Tuesdays sometimes with Mark and team about social media ideas. Like, this is a direct impact where you're, at least here, right, from what I'm reading, right, there's a direct takeaway of like cause and effect, right? Like, we put this out there of like this actual media campaign, and outcome was this, right? So like, it was cool, good to see for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to see, and there's people will be studying this one and how Domino's has approached marketing and business operations for some time. So I'm sure we'll talk about them next week with their next crazy idea, and I can't wait.
I love it. Well, listen, we won't just leave it there. I wanted to share one more article about them tonight, and so this is from a publication that I'm not that familiar with. It's the Assembly NC. And it's almost an expose to it. And the item here is called food. It's the food section there. That's Amore. After a long day preparing gourmet food, some of the region's top chefs dial up Domino's. What is it about the chain's pizza that hits the spot? So to your point there, they're doing something right. I mean, listen, this could have come out at any time, but like, you know, but it just happens to be the same week back to back with it. But interesting. I'm intrigued just for your initial thoughts on it. Is there something about, I mean, I know you have chef friends, Jim, like the appeal or the allure of food that they're not making, and it's something different? Or is it simply like long, stressful day, and you know what, I'm thinking high fat, salt, sugar, and that's drawing my attention. I crave it and I'm going for it. You know what I mean? I don't know. Is there something to Domino's about it, or what do you think?
I think it's somewhere in the middle, right? I mean, listen, I know a lot of chef friends whose favorite meal is either what's left over from the line or peanut butter and jelly, right? Because it's low effort, low thought. So I get why pizza would make it. But again, right, and the article talks about it, Domino's is trying to hit different, right? And it is kind of the chefiest in class, right? The sauce is a little less sweet, or a little less processed, right? The dough seems to, it's definitely not frozen. So I think they're on to something, maybe accidentally, where, hey, Domino's is what it is, right? It's not gourmet pizza. It's not, the high end, but for what it is, it's fast and it's good and it's consistent, which I think is also pretty important, especially to the chef or someone in the know. I think that might be why they're catching on. It's not like, Domino's to say, hey, chef friends, come have a pizza. That's like, they're not doing that on purpose. I think this is more of a byproduct of doing some of the little things right that maybe we don't have given them credit for over the years. What do you think?
Yeah, that's fair, man. It's right. It's like, have we been sleeping on them for long, or have they gotten caught up just in the idea of like, hey, man, maybe they were first, and then we built all these other prototypes, right, or models around them, and the pizza quality might not be the same, and maybe they are the long-standing OG. I mean, I will say, if I do think of like, I certainly crave like this style. I mean, this to me is a distinctive style. Right? This style of pizza is very distinctive, and I think of it as chain pizza, but when I think of something that I'm going to order this way, like, I'm probably going to go to Domino's over anything else nearby me from a chain perspective. I'm just like, dude, to that point, it's quality, it's consistent for what you're looking for. You're going to get what you're looking for. And like, there's a lot to be said about that, period. So it would be for items that I can't fully ascertain right now or think through like why it's my go-to. It is. There's something about it that would make me go to them over another chain.
Yeah. And listen, I live in Michigan where Domino's is based, right? Domino's and Little Caesars are very prevalent. So I wonder if I'm biased, but I'm the same way, right? Where if I'm going to get pizza, it's going to get Domino's. And I remember I pulled out a Domino's set and my daughter's like, oh, pizza. And it hit me like that's so ubiquitous to her. She has that. Like, oh, she didn't realize the connection. So they're doing something right. And I want to think on this one. I hope we get to talk about it again, because there's some magic there, and maybe it's just happenstance, right, where it just is caught on, it's everywhere, the hours they keep, right, it could just be a fluke, but maybe not. And I almost want to get a Domino's pizza tomorrow, just like, where are we, right, like kind of State of the Union for fast food pizza, which is not a bad idea, honestly.
There you go. I'm in, man. I might call you when I get mine. Then that's fine. We can FaceTime each other with it. But I'm with you. The article did note like the consistency to it, and especially kind of highlight here this like, which I don't often think about, but it is really popular style for it, the thin crust offering. I mean, that's not, at least when I was growing up, the initial offering you thought about in any way for chain pizza. But I've seen it a lot. Like, it's fun. The party cut, the thin slices, like, and they're pretty good. Like, I'm not gonna lie, right? I mean, I know it's so, sometimes it feels weird when you say that or think that, or others like, oh, you have some concept of like food quality and you like this, but like there's different levels of food that you like, right? As we know and go through all the time, like this is a good, consistent product offering that they put out, right? Is it gonna blow your mind with like some high end something or other? No. But is it going to be the bottom of the barrel? No. Is it going to be good quality? Yes.
Right. You know what you're getting. You get value, right? And yeah, it's best in class, and just consider it that way.
I'm with you. All right. Good luck, Domino's. So let's go on to someone that I often don't think is ordering Domino's, but maybe we could get her to try some one time. So this is out of PMQ coverage here for Christy Aaliyah, who is one of the hosts for the Wednesday Home Pizza Idea Making Exchange. And Christy is partnering with top industry vendors on scholarships for pizzaolas. Christy Aaliyah teams with top industry vendors on scholarships in her new campaign with Stanislaus and Corto Olive Oil, the founder of Women's Pizza Month, which is knocking on the door this month for March coming up.
2 hours.
Aims to bring more women into the pizza kitchen. So Jim, I'll throw it there to you in general. I think we both love Christy. She's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Great coverage by PMQ on this. So cool to see her out there in the spotlight on this and getting coverage for Women's Pizza Month of March.
Yeah, love all of it, right? Christy is amazing, pizza chef, amazing photographer, amazing person. Good on PMQ for getting the message out there, and good on her. I don't think people realize the work she does behind the scenes to make a lot of this happen. So cool that she's recognized. I can't wait to give her a little bit of a hard time about it and just congratulate her on the kickoff. A pretty important month, right? We've talked about how culinary school and pizza and how that's kind of becoming a thing, but to combine that with Women's Pizza Month, I think that's powerful, and I'm certain this month is going to be the most successful yet.
Yeah, and so just to give you the kind of back behind the article, to support the next generation of women pizza pioneers, Christy Elia, founder of Women's Pizza Month for March, has joined hands with Cordo Olive Oil and Stanislaus Foods, often known for their tomatoes, guys, to award Pizza University scholarships to 5 aspiring pizziolas. The scholarships are part of a new campaign that they're setting to raise the profiles of women in the pizza industry in general. So it's, I believe, March 1st through May 15th. Aspiring pizziolas can get more information and apply at a Corto site. I think Michael can link that here at the end. So it's cordo-oliveoil.com/pizza-kit. So essentially, you're going to go in and submit, see if you get picked for it. It sounds awesome, right? You get to, the recipients will be awarded a multi-day intensive master pizza seminar at Pizza University in Baltimore, Maryland. So this sounds awesome, right?
Amazing.
If you are a woman who's any interest in the pizza world in any kind of capacity, apply, check it out. Like, it's going to be so cool, I would think. I'd be really excited for it.
Yeah, send it to everyone you know. Let's make this a big thing and try to get some publicity out there.
So, what do we have next that we are going to be talking about? Oh, awesome. Another one coming out of PMQ. This one is, and I was really intrigued about this article because I think Sean had mentioned this to us, our friend Sean from Slice in New York last week about PMQ, and it's, if your San Marzanos weren't real, would you know? A lawsuit says no. So before I get into it, Jim, I'll throw it to you and think, have you heard anything, and I'm leading the witness here, about the artificial food, not artificial food industry, but like fake food industry? I'm losing the word that I'm actually looking for, right? But like when food isn't what food is, like mislabeling or food misguidance. There's so many different variations of what possibility could be here, but essentially you think you're buying something and you're actually getting something different for whatever reason it may have been. So I know personally, this one was really interesting. I've certainly seen the particular brand in the supermarkets before. So I don't know if you've recognized like this can before.
I have it in my pantry.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I've been duped. I've been had. I'm one of them. So and listen, the whole San Marzano thing is so fickle, right? Is it a tomato? Is it a type? Is it a region?
Yep.
It's really odd. But yeah, it's definitely a culinary bait and switch. And good on them for calling them out. Because I listen, it got me, right? If you're not paying attention. But also, I think this whole San Marzano thing's a little played up, right? So again, would you know culinarily? Maybe not, honestly. But it's so I've been had. I'm one of them. I'd like to join the suit, even though it's over. But yeah, people love Italian things, right? And they'll go crazy. And to someone who doesn't know, they say, "Oh, Food Network company, San Marzano, that looks it," right? So hopefully we can get a little more control, but I doubt it, right? Unless you see that DOP label, you gotta be very, very careful.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I know, like I often try to utilize, depending upon what I'm doing, right? If it's like I like a lot of different tomatoes, and I'll try, like, Cento's a really popular one just from a supermarket perspective. That's like by me. I really do, and not to shout everybody out, but I really do love the Bianco tomatoes, which by me are like, you could typically buy them at Whole Foods. So I certainly have my favorites. I love, like, San Marzano is very distinctive, right? Just as we're talking about it, like volcanic region from Campania in Italy, right? So the soil's very, very important, right, for the growth of this tomato. And there's been spur-offs industry-wide, right, where there's tomatoes in the style of San Marzano, which are like Roma tomatoes, essentially, that are trying to replicate this, though. And I don't know what the conditions they use to make them in the style of. But I'll ask you, when we think about tomatoes, just for 1 second, do you think there's a difference between whole tomatoes that you're squeezing yourself, or diced or pureed already when you're purchasing canned tomatoes? And I wonder if you do different styles for different uses.
I do different styles for different things. To me, it depends how much it's going to be cooked, right? If it's going to be a raw sauce, I'll do the whole tomatoes and squeezed. If it's something I'm going to cook before it goes to pie anyways, I'm doing crushed for the consistency, and to help, get that water out a little bit quicker, because crushed is going to have a little bit lower water. But it does matter. And, with that, using passata, right, which is basically, tomato puree, I'll use that also instead of hand crushed too, or whole tomatoes for certain styles, kind of in between. So it matters a lot to me, honestly. I think that matters more than particular if it's truly a DOP. Obviously, you get a quality, but listen, if I'm gonna cook it for half an hour before it goes in the oven anyways, you're gonna lose some of that subtlety. I'm not going top shelf.
I'm with you there, and that's exactly the way I look at it too. Yeah. I look for any kind of whole, high quality tomato that I'm going to use. I'm going to grind or strain or push it through a sieve or something like that if I'm going to use it in its essence there. But I'll start to degrade depending upon how long I'm going to be utilizing that the cooking process for that tomato. So we're on the same page, buddy.
Absolutely. I think it's funny you say. I'm thinking of the 30 recipes that I pine over the different regions. I think crushed, just standard crushed and passata are probably the leaders, because again, right, you do cook and other things, but there's just something about them, like a Neapolitan hot pie. You squeeze a tomato, kind of let it be, and the difference in texture is something special. But I will not be using that brand now. Those will get relegated to paperweight, just principle.
All right, well, I hear you. I think we've heard. I would say. Not that this one may be a misrepresentation of what's there. I think on the other side, we've heard from olive oils, right, where they've been replaced. Is it really where it's coming from? And so the same kind of theme for that too. So it's all over the pizza world. Doesn't matter the product, right?
Yeah,
but be careful what you're using.
More in the pizza world, as someone in the chemical industry, it happens everywhere. The whole made in America thing can be tricky if you're not diligent.
Fair. Do your research. Look into what you're buying, right?
Absolutely.
All right, let's bring up another item that came up last week, and like we've said all along, this continues to come up, and we hear about it both like on the consumer side and both on the operator side. This one's covered from Yahoo via the New York Post, and it goes, "I didn't tip a pizzeria for our slices. Here's how they got revenge and why I'm never going back." So essentially, this individual, right, is in the Salt Lake City area, goes to a pizzeria, gets a printout of the receipt to sign, right? Like you check out, you're buying slices, you use card, you get a receipt. The receipt, right, has a line item for tip. The individual crosses out the tip and just writes in the full amount, right? So they're not leaving a tip for that product. And the article here goes to say, which was also based from Reddit, that they get first a burnt slices that are inedible. They were burnt so badly that the pizzaiola couldn't give them to us, and then he had to start another set of slices and burn those as well. If there was any doubt about the worker's malice, the smirk he gave us pretty telling, replied the user who submitted that. So again, I don't know, man. We're back to this tipping thing. Do you need a tip for your pizza in any sort of capacity? And this one's a little different, right? The other one we talked about was for pickup last week. This one's for someone heating up a slice. It's different. I get that. Totally appreciate that. Maybe one is more deserving than the other, but still not a requirement, right, in that capacity.
Yeah, and we talked with some pizza owners last week in the Clubhouse, right, about if they're doing more, right, if they're hustling, if they're they're making the slices, they're running their tail rather than the person who did the least and go between. But again, everyone said it's appreciated but never expected. I would have a hard time believing that any self-respecting pizza master would purposely serve burnt pizza. right? There has to be more to this story. There has to be, right? I mean, you and I know dozens and dozens. They are extremely prideful of their craft and would never purposely destroy it. They would refuse service, they get out or don't, right? I can see that, but there's more of this story. They're just, it reeks of something, especially burning
that happens
pizza.
when you get one side.
Well,
it happens when you get one side, right?
You burn a pizza in a pizza oven, right? That lingers.
Yeah.
Right? That's not something.
Of course.
So that's you're hurting yourself too. So I don't know.
Absolutely.
There's more to this, and no offense to the New York Post, but you know, you have to consider all the sides and all the sources on this one. Or am I out of bounds, Will? Am I too skeptical?
No. I think you're on to it. I think for me, it was, I get the part where they said about the smirk, and you know, you're not there, so you're always you're getting this through someone else's eyes and their own perceptions, right? So it's hard to get your own for it. It's not, you can't be a subjective, but I'm with you in that it's a hard one to say, like, it would just typically happen. Maybe there was something else to it. And to be honest, also, what's the purpose? Like, I don't know, man. Like, why burn these slices, put another set in, and burn the next ones? I mean, you're also just annoying yourself. Like, you had to put more back in. So I don't know if I fully appreciate the rationale for this. So
yeah,
this one's tough.
Yeah, it one's tough. I wish it were someone we knew so we could get the other story, but I don't know anyone who makes pizza in Salt Lake City. I don't think you do either. So
I do not.
It's a shame. Not yet. But if you're watching, if you're on the other side, reach out. We'd love to tell your story. You know, get the exclusive scoop.
So let's actually, you know what? We do have one friend in the Salt Lake area. Yeah, we'll reach out. We'll see if we can find any more about this.
Hilarious.
Right. Let's keep going, and let's head over to Pizza Today. And Pizza Today put out a report here. Key menu takeaways from the 2024 pizza industry trends report. Pull this one up here, and I'd love to just highlight a couple here with you, Jim, and see, get your thoughts on these. So the top items that they highlighted here. First, seafood lovers are a niche that some pizzerias have earned when done right. Those with seafood on a pizza menu gravitate toward shrimp, clams, crab meat, and yes, anchovies. Crab meat was a new one for me on a pizza, Jim. I personally have not ever seen that before, but I want to throw it to you, Mr. Regionality. Is there a region doing crab pies distinct?
Maybe your favorite California might be doing something wild, but no, this, if you would have told me this was top, I want to check sources on this one, because I don't see that, right? I see anchovies coming back, right? We've talked about that.
Yeah.
You know, certainly clams on the right style of pie if you're in the greater New Haven area is a thing, but shrimp and crab meat is new. And I don't think I would even put crab on it. Ruin it, right? You ruin it on pizza.
It feels delicate for like that use. I don't know. I'm not getting it. I know if you do a cool crab pie, send it to us. I'd love to try to replicate it. Send it in. I'm happy to check it out. But it's not that I normally see.
No,
it's a pricey ingredient. I feel like it's I don't know.
And pricey and delicate. I don't think it would. I don't think it would play.
And it's like, I'll leave it at, like, it's also one of those items where I don't think of it as like just like a finishing item for a pie either, right? It's just, I don't know. I'm struggling on this one. All right, number 2, Americans are crazy for chicken. It's the 6th most popular topping, which is, I feel like chicken is like the controversial pizza topping that we don't talk about as controversial, because I feel like there's so many owners we talk to who are like more old school, right? And particularly Italian, and they're like, chicken doesn't go on pizza, you know. But it's all over the place. We always see it. It doesn't catch the attention of pineapples or pickles, but there's a lot of chicken pizza haters that don't want it on there.
Absolutely right. I mean, and chicken's a lot of ways. You've got, you know, your classic barbecue chicken. I've seen fried chicken, like, you know, bread chicken everywhere. And let's face it, you have little ones. I do too. I want them to eat more protein. I'm going to throw a little chicken on that pizza, right?
Yeah.
So it 6 kind of surprised me. I would maybe put it at the 10th, but I buy it, right? It is everywhere. I just, you know, again, when you talked about last week. What do you think of that quintessential American slice? You think of the New York classic cheese or pepperoni. You don't think of chicken, but you actually get into homes, and it's a thing. And listen, fried chicken on pizza can be pretty darn good.
I'm with you, and I could totally do a buffalo chicken if like I'm into a slice like that or something. Like I'll give it a whirl. Is it going to be a mainstay for me? No. Am I adverse to it? No. The number 6, I just don't think it's the 6th most like popular topping. But hey, man, I didn't put the survey together, so you got it. Pizza today. I'm with you. All right. Number 3, I'll run through a few more and I'll hit on ones. Be like, vegan is still very hot when it comes to plant-based offerings. Imitation is the best form of flattery. I will note that I hear you on the vegan offerings and the interest around it. I would highlight to think about it just from a plant-based perspective. I would say a lot of, at least that I've seen, the meat companies that we both know of, all the artificial meat ones or meat replication ones are in the news a lot, and they're coming out with new offerings to try to gain more traction. I think they've gotten some heat for being, yes, they're vegan based, but yes, there might be a lot of other items in there.
Very processed,
good or bad, but there are a lot of ingredients essentially or chemicals used or processes to create this product. Take that as you want. So I hear you on the vegan one, but just one thing to consider too, in the same breath, that I've seen a lot of that in the news as of lately.
And it's an option, right? It's an option. It's not hurting anyone if you don't want it. But the soy cheese is a thing, right? That's kind of a mainstay. But you start seeing the Impossible pepperoni, the brand, or the ones which I don't enjoy. But listen, it's an option for people who can't or don't want to eat it, still want to partake. Again, not hurting anyone, fine with it.
Yeah, I get you there. Wings have a high food cost, but they are the 2nd most popular item on the menu behind pizza at most U.S. pizzerias in the U.S. Sandwiches are providing a great return. We're going to see more burgers are joining the pizzeria menu. Customers crave more doughy masterpieces to accompany their pizza order. And this one here, we're talking cheesy bread, garlic knots, so on and so forth, for all those like different offerings. What are your thoughts on these in general, Jim, in that sense of like, do you think if you were like an operator, would you think like these doughy offerings take away from someone who's going to order another pie, or do you really see them as a side item a lot of times? I'm assuming so, but I mean, I'm interested in how you order and how it impacts you.
I think it's a great side item, right? I don't think they're going to detract from pizza, but even then, maybe we can ask some of our friends later. My guess is the margin on garlic knots is a lot higher than a pizza, so they probably don't mind, right?
Good point. Someone should open a garlic knot shop, period, then, right? That's it.
Let's go.
Do knots. Let's do knots.
Let's do knots. Every week we come up with a winner. I think this one we should edit out so we can keep. Let's do. Yeah, it's like Cane's. We just do garlic knots.
Yeah.
That's it. Couple different sauces. We nail it. I'm in. Who says no? But I think
not me.
Got him. Boy, that's hard to come back from. I get wings, burgers. I don't see.
Yeah. That was an interesting one. A
lot of places, I guess the Midwest will throw a burger on there just to say that they do it, but I don't see it. Sandwiches, we've seen anywhere from the papadilla or to the sandwich craze that we all saw. So I see that, right, and I think that's pretty fun. So overall, I think the list was pretty good. I'm still not buying chicken at 6 or crab meat. I want to check receipts on both of those.
I'm with you on that one. Let me round it out. Even amid concise menus, salads are a strong item. Pasta is still a hit with pizzerias. Meatballs were one of the most added items to menus. Over 62% of operator surveys indicated they would offer a vegetarian pizza. Nearly 66% of operators surveyed offered a gluten-free crust offering. And finally, a surprising 39% offered cauliflower crust. So
yeah, interesting.
Hey. All right. Thanks, Pizza Today. Thought that was a good trend report to look through. All right, I'm gonna just turn to something controversial, and I'll say it's only controversial, Jim, from the way that you speak or us. I'm speaking about me when I'm saying yes. the non-Italian side of the world tries to say this. So this one also from Pizza Today. And I'll start with the pronunciation this way. Ricotta cheese is a staple item for every pizzeria. So Jim, I'll start there. Is it ricotta, ricotta, rigot? What is it to you? And do you look down upon those peasants who mispronounce this word?
No, I don't. That's not why I look down on people. No, it's ricotta, right? It's how I grew up. Grew up with it. There's no A. Don't pronounce it. Don't dare do it. But no, listen, I've heard it about a million different ways. I think really it's more of the hands. You have to say it more with the hands than you do with the with the vowels. You understand, of course.
Do you feel though that cheese is a staple item for every pizzeria? Do you like the cheese? Do you use it personally? Do you feel it always has a place in what you're doing, or do you use it more just like specifically for certain ones? Give me your thoughts on it as a cheese du jour of the pizza world.
It's divisive, right? Because the ceiling of ricotta is an A, the floor is an F. Right, there's really good ones and really not good ones.
Yeah, way to go. Good way to put it.
It can be a really, really good finisher and a really cool way to accent a pie, right? Especially something with some char. You want a little milky sweetness. I do a St. Louis style, like toasted ravioli. So it's a cheese with ricotta and garlic breadcrumbs, right? You can play a lot with it. You can also do a lot with dessert, like cannoli pie or so ricotta is pretty fun, but I can't see a person just ordering a ricotta and mushroom pizza, right?
No.
It has to be styled and crafted accordingly. And if done right, it's really great. If done improperly or not ideally with not great ricotta, it can be abhorrently bad, in my opinion. Ricotta.
Yeah. All right. No, I appreciate that. I would say it's like you kind of summarize your thoughts on it. Because I agree as well. It's not the standalone, right? It's an ingredient in the recipe. You can make it shine, you can elevate it, but just like it is not the forward centric flavor of what you're putting out there in general, right? It's an additive. It's a support. It's playing a supporting role in elevating what's there, right? It's not the shining star.
Right. And it's funny, the headline picture, right, wasn't of pizza. It was on kind of like bruschetta clone appetizer, which, again, if I'm a pizzeria, garlic knots with ricotta and some hot honey or something, and you're on to something with probably pretty good margins. So I see it. It's just you got to be real purposeful, and you got to have a good brand because, boy, there's some real tough ones out there.
Good point, man. I'm with you on that. And I agree that this is one where it is very distinctive, right? Mm-hmm. Like if you are purchasing just I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. This jarred container of this that is in the back of the shelf there might not be the best choice if you're looking to use it, whereas maybe the fresher varietal that you can get a more of a specialty market may be the choice to make in this situation if you're looking to use it.
Yeah, baking in lasagna, you might not notice. Putting it raw on top of pizza, you might want to go a little specialty. I think you nailed it. Again, how do you say it? Ricotta?
Yeah, ricotta. Ricotta.
There we go. Put a little New York into it. Perfect.
Let's talk about speaking of New York, let's talk about some openings. This one from Time Out. This is See No Evil Pizza, a hidden pizzeria that just opened underground in a midtown train station. See No Evil Pizza is inside the 50th Street 1 train station. I'll scroll down to the pies look pretty good that are there. I'm happy to. It seems like a cool little space to find, check out, and try. I don't know too much about them. General, I do always love the idea of the self promotion though that comes from some of them. So the owner here, Gallo, says, "I basically transformed a subway station that was super neglected to a destination spot in the middle of Times Square." That's quite a statement to make in New York, I'm going to say. But hey, man, shamelessly promote yourself. Absolutely. I'm with you. That one really honestly just caught my attention. But I was just like, okay.
And it's so midtown, right? To have a converted subway station, a hidden pizzeria place that's right. So it's cool, right? Good for them, right? You always need an angle, and the pies look good. So I hope it plays.
I'm with you there. Next one up out of New York, and this is a fan favorite, I would say, for Pizza Club in general. Paulie G's in Brooklyn is going to be reopening under new management. The pizzeria has new late night hours with the bar as well. So it looks like one of the long-term employees, Dylan Schwartz, who's worked at Paulie G's for a while, is taking over the operations here. And this is an ingredient point. Paulie G, just for reference, is Slice Shop, but he's also started like a franchising model. Paulie G is a really cool dude, man, and yeah, I like his pizzerias. And the reason I bring it up too is they're kind of cool because it's like he operates them as franchises, but they're each a little unique in terms of some of their offerings. So it's not like exactly like a chain, you know what I mean? Like there's variation to it, and he just makes really good pizza. So this is cool. I'm excited to see what they do about this. And don't worry, Paulie's not going anywhere. He's got 12 other slice shops that he's still working on it and supporting. So he's there. This is just a changeover from one store.
Yeah, institution, you nailed it, right? It's not a cookie cutter. He'll play into the neighborhood and environment and make each one its own, but still his, which is incredibly difficult to do once, let alone over a dozen times. So he's the man.
Yeah, that's a good point. You put it a good way there. I was struggling to think of how I would describe it, but yes, it kind of fits to the area of the neighborhood. Yeah. All right, the next one I thought was just an interesting idea. We got a couple more quickly that are fast to go through, so we'll wrap them up with them. This one out of PGH City Paper in Pittsburgh, and I just like the idea of this. Pittsburgh has so much good pizza that we needed a passport to navigate it all. A new tasting tour made in PGH and Best Bites Pittsburgh takes place Sunday, March 17th. Offers the region's pizza lovers a way to enjoy a slice at beloved pizzerias. Guests are invited to purchase the newly launched Pittsburgh Pizza Passport for $50, follow a pizza map, and visit restaurants for a complimentary slice. Get stamps, enter a prize drawing to win an outdoor pizza oven. 18 pizzerias are featured in it. I just like the idea, right? This idea of pizza passport, draw attention to new areas. It's cool. Why don't we see more of this, Jim?
I love it, right? My town did something similar with chili, right? I was a judge for that.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing, right? Where it gets people out. It's a community event. You get, good publicity. You get to try a lot of different things. So I love it. I love every bit about it. And I hope it becomes an annual tradition in a lot of places. How fun, right? It's something where you can, and then especially in Western Pennsylvania, right, where you start to see a lot of the different styles kind of come together, you can start to see that variety, and that'd be a lot of fun. So hopefully I can catch the one next year, because what a cool thing, a pizza passport, right? Great
I'm with you.
Great job.
It just sounded so fun, man. I was like, I'd love to do this if this was anywhere around Charlotte or whatnot too. I'd be there, man. I'd take my kids there. I'd be like, dude, let's hit it up. Sounds fun.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let's talk about some pizza music, which we don't often talk about. We certainly have before. I have before, but this one's a pretty unique offering. So this one was out of Gizmodo, which I personally like, not necessarily for pizza, but a good tech publication in general. I think I lost this article. It wasn't coming up here. So in general, though, this one is, like I said, from Gizmodo, and this is the first song ever released as a physical slice of pizza. And this is a thrash metal band, Belushi Speedballs, has a new single out, and it sounds even better if you're hungry. So I don't even know what to say about that, but dude, I wish this article list would pull up here, but I can't do it. But it is a physical pizza slice that is covered. It's what do you call it, Jim? It's set in a resin, so it's the slice, right? But it's held in. It's in there. There's a speaker on top of this slice, which is in a Tupperware container, and there's just a play button on it, right? So this is the single that was released. It is a physical piece of pizza that you play. Just a cool idea, right?
Marketing 10 out of 10, right? How cool, what an interesting process. I love every bit about it. I guarantee, mark it down, Domino's is going to do something like this in the next 6 months. I bet you. I will bet you.
You think so?
I do. I think this is just too unique and too cool where they're going to do something wild like this. I don't know, just a gut. But at first I thought, is it like a pizza-shaped CD or like a vinyl? No, it is hit play on a piece of pizza, and you'll get, of course, death metal, which is what I think of when I eat most slices of pizza, certainly.
I'm with you there. It is an interesting one. And I will note, I was just thinking about it, what it was when we talked pizza music before. There's a band out there. Also, I'm not gonna lie, as I'm not that familiar with this genre of thrash metal.
Really?
No. I know. It's just, I I agree. But their name is Pizza Death, and they only write songs about pizza.
Sure.
Yep, they have multiple albums, and the songs are solely about pizza. So when I saw this, I was like, I know who this is. And no, and it's not. It's Belushi Speedball, and I thought it was Pizza Death, man. It really got me on this one. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, you know what? There's a collab coming, and we'll be the first to report on it.
All right, last two that we got quickly. I was reading this one. This one caught my attention. This is Washington Country Insider, and it's just the idea of spaghetti and meatballs in Easton's February 2024 fresh pizza of the month. So, Jim, it just caught my attention to ask, like, have you ever had a spaghetti and meatball pie?
So I'm just my name right on Riverside where we do this is Jimmy Meatballs today, and I did that in honor of this article specifically. I have. It's a lot better than it should be, Will, and that's just all I'll say.
Really?
Oh,
really?
yeah. I like pasta on pizza. Don't come at me. I like meatballs on pizza. I've done this for the kids, and I love it. I love every bit of it. I'm gonna own it, and it plays. It's just it again. It's kind of like the first article we hit. It's a flavor, it's so familiar, but it's just a little bit different, and it's just fun. So I'm here for it. Here for all of it. Jimmy Meatballs approved.
Wait, tell me about it. Listen, well, first let me just say, I'm totally accepting of carb on carb. I'm fine with that. I support it. Any carb you want to put on top of another carb, I'm down. I also go for egg on egg. Like I'm all down for the variations of it. I do the item on top of the item. Totally cool. Tell me about this spaghetti meatball pie. Do you cut the meatballs? Are they whole? Are they mini meatballs? Are you cutting up the spaghetti? I mean, are you breaking it? I need to know more.
Yeah. So standard cheese pie. I'll hit it with some fresh tomatoes. Slices, I'll make big meatballs, right? Like quarter pounders and slice them. And then spaghetti, I'll cook, but I'll put that on last. I want that to get crispy, right? That's my texture, right? So strands, right? Kind of haphazard. So when it cooks, you get that like corner lasagna bit, right? And then, heavy parm on top to kind of help that texture. So yeah, the carb on carb, it's not a lot, but it's kind of the texture at the finish. Didn't expect it. Didn't mean for it to work. It was incredible. And borderline one of my go-to pizzas. It was that good and that fun.
Okay. Awesome, man. Dude, I dig it, man. All right. I'm going to have to take this one away and give it a roll. It sounds good. I appreciate the idea of getting the spaghetti a little crisp, right, to give a texture to it. So cool. Good tips, man.
Kind of like a spaghetti pie texture, right, where you got the dichotomy of the soft and the crunchy. And yeah, if you do it right, don't just load it up with spaghetti. It's a topping, but it was good. Would and do it often.
Okay, all right, man. All right, Jimmy Meatballs. Thank you, buddy. I'm gonna leave it there, dude, because I can't compete with that. You know what? I will know one thing I forgot to mention as well. We were talking last week about this review for my area for Charlotte that caught attention. Where it was like a really intense review, right? We're talking about this restaurant, Pizza Baby, that had just recently opened, and it was one of those things where we were talking about like how harsh is the review. The reviewer had called some of the pizza like paper mache, and then there's a lot of criticism to it, and a lot of papers picked it up, and there was a lot of papers picked up the papers review of it. There's been a lot of media critique of it, of people commenting about it, and so I did stop in. I tried the pizza. I brought it. I brought one back to my buddy as well. He's a Long Island guy. He tried it. I would say now the critique of this pizzeria, right, Pizza Baby, was that it was like an ode to New York, and the reviewer felt it fell short of that, and then there was some additional critique on top of that. I will say, is this a classic New York slice? No.
Mm-hmm.
But it was crisp, and I would say certainly for the area that I'm in Charlotte, this like cheese blend on top was immediately it brought me back to New York slice. So
There you go.
classic New York, no, but I mean, like I'm telling you, you picked this up and you looked at it, and just the cheese on top and the consistency
You
of
just
it. Now
tell.
you said New York slice. You know, I didn't have to eat it, right? To just look at it and be like, this is a New York slice. Shape of it, no. The crust is a little big. It's a little unique, and maybe they're still working it out, or maybe they're not going to be exactly classic New York. Dude, when I ate that, I said, "Holy, this is exactly." They hit this cheese on. Like I've had no New York equivalent slice down here like that, even though it's not it. But that cheese, just I was like, I'm in. I'm back in. I'm at a slice shop, man. It was cool.
That's incredible. I'd love to know, right, just as a pizza writer, what the magic behind the cheese. Because no one will tell me, right? It's just whole milk mozzarella. No, it's not.
Yeah,
We all know it's not.
No.
Right? I don't know what you're spiking it with. I don't know if it's some magic like the water or what, but there's something there, Will, and I'm gonna figure it out one of these days and broadly print it. But no, that's cool. That's cool. And so is it more of like a Neapolitan 2.0? Like are we talking like a Brooklyn or
I would
just
say
kind of a
it's like its own. So I would say honestly, like it was like a thin crisp where like you could there's a slight I would say there's like a slight sag to it, but not a bad sag. Like it's just that there's a lot of cheese on it. It's heavy, so it was still crispy on the bottom when you bit into it. It's just that there's like a really thick cornichon around it, but it was light, not Neapolitan light, like where you could just kind of push it down. It had a little bit more crisp to it, but it was certainly airy. It's hard to describe. It was almost like a handle, and then it just got super thin. So unique in that aspect. But I'm telling you, this cheese blend, dude, I was in Manhattan eating a beautiful cheese slice again, and it was wonderful. But I'm with you, Jim, on it. Like the cheese itself, dude. I don't know if it's Parmesan or Pecorino or something kind of like a little bit of a bite to it. It tasted more rich, more like of a Parmesan sprinkle to it to create that consistency. But it was perfect blend to it. So
it's amazing.
Maybe the reviewer had a different pie. And I agree, it's not classic New York, but it's worth a shot.
Cool.
So
it's cool.
Good for them.
Cool. Good doing journalistic research for the pod.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I love it. Well, listen. Speaking of the pod, Jim, where can people find you across the social media universe when they want to read about your pizzas and everything else you're doing?
You type in Jim Cooks Food Good wherever you consume your content, and you'll run into me and one of my pizza or meatball recipes.
All right, Jimmy Meatballs, thank you very much for tonight, guys. And everyone else who subscribed, please like and subscribe. Check us out on YouTube. I Need Pizza Club. We've got a lot of content that we're building out there, a number of different shows as well. And on that note, please come back, check us out next week for another episode. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.